Call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you all for coming tonight for our regular City Commission meeting of May 12th. Roll call, please.
Benson? Here. Brunick?
Here.
Sarda? Here. Hanoff?
Here.
Minor?
Here.
Mosier?
Here.
Villanueva?
Here.
Weber?
Here.
Mayor Schramm?
Here.
City Manager Leon?
Here.
City Attorney Denherter?
Here.
Before you, you have the minutes of our regular meeting of April 28th and the strategic plan work session of April 30th. What is the pleasure of the commission?
Move to approve. Second?
All those in favor of approving the minutes and the strategic planning work session minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Moving on to the schedule of bills.
Move to pay the bills.
No. Oh, you were going to say, this is their motion.
Can we strike that and
Second.
start over? Is there a motion to move to pay the bills?
I motion to move to pay the bills.
Favorite thing to say. Whatever, I'll say it to my animals at home.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll take it.
Any discussion on those items? Any discussion from the public? Roll call.
Benson?
Here.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
What's going on?
Benson?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Hanoff?
Aye.
Minor?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Villanueva?
Aye.
Weber?
Aye.
Mayor Schramm?
Aye. Bills will be paid. Moving on to the city manager's report. Amy?
Thank you. Don't know if the heat's getting to people here or what, but I'll see if I can keep it together. Your next meeting for your benefit and for the public's benefit is on Tuesday, May 27th. So because of the observance of Memorial Day, we're going to meet on that Tuesday. Same time, 6 p.m. So just so everyone has that in their calendar. Also, make note that we are going to ask you to consider the work session of the budget and capital and outside agency on June 16th. In rewatching the meeting, we believe you all landed on 6 p.m. start time, but you can change that if you need to, and perhaps you want your newly appointed, newly elected commissioners to weigh in on that time as well. But so far, that's, as it stands, is what we have in the consent calendar. We were not able to get our nameplates in time for our incoming commissioners, so we'll be using temporary name tags for them. So as you move seats around this evening, please take your nameplate with you, and for the outgoing commissioners, you can slide that nameplate out and consider it your service award for your time on the commission. So thank you for that. Also, with our incoming commissioners, I mentioned this to you, but we're going to have 2 Daves, 2 Brians. So we're going to try to use the decorum that we need to and be formal enough, commissioner and last name, so we don't get confused, and so Lisa doesn't get confused on the minutes, because that could make a difference. So let's do our best to try to use those last names, so we make sure we keep the Daves straight and the Bryans straight for sure. Wanted to let everyone know that while you all are in a meeting on May 27th, the summer reading program kickoff is going to be happening, partnership between the library and Parks and Rec, so lots of good stuff coming your way for that. That was a really big event last year and is going to be promised to be another great party this year as well. So we hope folks can come down to the park and enjoy that. More to come from the library on publicizing that and getting that out to the community. Whomever is elected mayor and I will be working on committee assignments a little bit early this year because we have the comprehensive plan coming, and the first time the Planning Commission will look at that will be June 2nd. So we'd like to have those before the commission to consider on May 27th. So if you have calendar constraints or things that you have preferences on, they can't be promised, but you should communicate those to the newly elected mayor. What I thought I would do, Mayor Schramm, is at the end of the meeting, or at the end of this meeting before you adjourn your old business, give you, as well as Commissioners Weber and Minor, an opportunity if they would like to give us any departing pearls of wisdom or advice. We certainly like to hear them. From the staff's perspective, we can only thank you so much, but we really do appreciate the time that you've spent with us. Amy, I think that you have really taught us to lead in a more kinder and gentler way. Jerry, when tragedy has struck our city family, you were only a phone call away, and I think that'll still be the case, but we've gone through some really serious things with staff and in our personal lives, and you've always been there, and so we've appreciated that support. And Mayor Schramm, we've seen a lot, including the Beach Boys, which is correct, together. And we were talking about how much we've enjoyed watching your family grow here with you being here on service. So thank you very much from the staff's perspective, and I think you'll probably get another one of these, but I'd like to suggest that we give you a round of applause for your many years of combined service. I'll stand for questions, Mayor, if there are any. Otherwise, I'll let you move on to your business.
Thank you, Amy. Any questions for the city manager?
I have one, and I might have missed it somewhere, Amy. I saw that you sent out like how much we collected at hazardous waste. Did I miss where you also shared the poundage or how much we collected during citywide cleanup? And was it up or down over last year even? I'm just curious.
We did share that. I think it might have been in the last packet, but I'm going to call on Adam. Do you happen to know the numbers? Okay, I'll look it up and, oh, it was in the last packet, I believe, so I will look it up and reiterate that when I go back to that packet here.
Any other questions for the city manager? Okay, seeing no mics, we will move on to a proclamation. So we are, it's proclamation season in the spring, and we are fortunate to have proclamation for National Police Week. And so we have a few of our officers here in attendance, and we already took the picture, so we're going to read the proclamation, and if any of you want to go to the podium and say a few words, somebody's being nominated over there, we can do that. So, whereas the dedicated members of law enforcement agencies across our nation, including the brave men and women serving in Yankton, South Dakota, work tirelessly to maintain peace, enforce laws, and safeguard the communities they serve. And whereas National Police Week, observed from May 11th to May 17th, provides an opportunity to honor the service and sacrifice of law enforcement officers and to express our gratitude for their unwavering commitment to justice and public safety. And whereas this week also commemorates the lives of those officers who have tragically lost their lives in the line of duty, reminding us of the profound courage and selflessness required of those who wear the badge. And whereas all citizens of Yankton are encouraged to reflect on the critical role that law enforcement plays in preserving the freedoms and safety we value, as well as to recognize the sacrifices made by officers and their families. Now therefore, I, Mason Schramm, Mayor of Yankton, do hereby proclaim May 11th through May 17, 2025 as National Police Week in the city of Yankton. I call upon all residents of our city to join in expressing their appreciation for all the dedication, service, and bravery of our law enforcement. Let us unite in support and gratitude for their commitment to protecting and serving our community.
Appreciate you recognizing us, and I can speak hopefully for all the men and women that work for the Yankton Police Department, that we are proud to serve this city, and we feel that we're recognized by you too. So the citizens here, it's a great place to work. Couldn't do it without you guys. Thanks.
I believe also Chief Foote would have liked to have been here, but there is an award ceremony tonight. He's got a senior that's graduating, and he wanted to be there to see her accomplishments. So recognize him as well, and thank you.
Okay, moving on to public appearances. We do have a scheduled public appearance, but before we get to that, is there anyone that would like to address the commission about something that is not on the agenda? I don't think they want to address the commission. All right, seeing no other movement to the podium, Luke, would you mind? And Luke's going to talk to us about the upcoming rec activities and summer events.
Sure, thank you. Just a quick note of thanks to PD and also our outgoing city commissioners. Thank you for your time and service to our community. It means a lot to all of us, staff as well, so thank you for your service. I'm here tonight to primarily deliver what we're kind of calling our annual State of the State, SAC speech here. Not as political as the real state of the state, but this, just a little background, and probably fair to do this, just to provide a little bit of history. We've got some new and incoming commissioners, some changeover happening here. So just to provide a little bit of clarity about the intention of this report here, I'm going to give you just a brief history of kind of where these last couple years have moved us to today. Summit Activity Center has been operational since 1997 in our community. We're entering its 28th year of operations. Hard to believe that that facility is aging, approaching 3 decades. In our community, outsiders still come here and refer to the new high school in town, or that new facility that actually is approaching 3 decades of age. But that's also a testament to how well that facility is aged, upkeep, maintenance, all those things that are a part of taking care of places and spaces as well. The community facility has provided space for fitness, recreation, league plays, gatherings, rental spaces, and also is kind of the hub for all parks and recreation information and services operating out of the SAC. Following the events of COVID, it was deemed necessary to take a deeper look at all the aspects of operations in the Summit Activity Center as general fund transfers approached some higher levels following the years of COVID coming out of that. The SAC task force was formed in calendar year 2022. We started meeting in calendar year 2022, and those meetings lasted all the way into 2023. The SAC task force was comprised of City of Yankton staff, Yankton High School staff, SAC members, and community members at large. The task force met throughout the year in 2022 and 2023, looking at effective ways to balance fiscal responsibility, discussing future operations, talking about space usage, renovation strategies, and how to balance affordability with value while also thinking about cost recovery. One of a number of outcomes that resulted from the task force strategic planning process was a plan, which is what we're doing right now, to annually discuss operations at the Summit Activity Center. This plan is not intended to be overwhelming with information, but rather a very brief summary of all of the key components of operations throughout each calendar year at the SAC. You have been provided a summary of that annual report that I'm going to go through here in just a couple minutes. If you are needing one, I do have some copies, though. Happy to provide you one of those. But as we go through this report, if there are specific questions relating to expenses, assets, liabilities, capital expenses, I may reference some of those questions to Lisa or Todd here, as some of this information relating to finances can be rather complex in terms of final audit statistics, and also some of the shared capital expenses that are part of our joint use agreement with the Yankton School District. With this information I've now provided you, I'm going to just briefly cover the information in this 2024 general report. So if you've been provided this, I'm going to just kind of briefly summarize some of the information in here. Also, one other thing I should acknowledge, Elvaro Fernandez is here, and Elvaro has been an intern with the City of Yankton in finance, and he kind of got to cut his teeth on this report a little bit here. This was a great way for him to enter into the internship world of looking at dollars and cents and making sense of it. And so just a quick thanks to Elvaro while he's here. I want to just mention that. Thank you, Elvaro, for your work on helping with this as well. So hopefully this was a great internship opportunity for you. If not, you can let us know later. This is for calendar year 2024, and three of the numbers discussed here, and without getting into the real nitty-gritty statistics of this, the general fund covered approximately 50% of the SAC's operating expenses. The transfer amount at the end of the day, the final transfer amount that was made was $371,716.58, which is a significant drop if you look historically at years past, especially coming out of COVID, 2020, 2021, 2022. There was some questions that were raised about what should that operating cost be? What's an acceptable amount of transfer for a facility like the Summit Activity Center? Cost recovery, 51.1%, and I'm going to go back years here, but Mayor Mason Schramm here, as we talked about specifics of what should be some of the guiding principles of this, that general fund transfer was one of those, and also cost recovery. Those were kind of two of the big parameters that were noted in terms of how do we know if the needle's moving in the right direction, and how do we know what's sustainable and fiscally responsible as we move through the years here. Net operating loss is listed there. In comparison to 2023, that net operating loss actually showed a 3.1% increase, but when you factor that in with capital expenses, and again, we're talking about a lot of different pools of monies here that are coming in and out. When you add that in with capital expenses, we actually had a 27% decrease from 2023 to 2024. Listed on the bottom there is just a brief comment about those numbers. Costs continue to rise, and I'll briefly touch on that in just a couple minutes here. But the SAC has maintained a steady increase in revenue since 2020. We are moving in the right direction. General fund transfer in 2024 was the smallest since the pandemic. From 2023 to 2024, operating expenses did move up 14%. Revenues were also up 8%. The general fund transfer amount was reduced by 5%. I think it's very obvious to talk about operating expenses. We know we are not in a world right now where operating expenses are on the decline for any industry, business, manufacturing. We're doing our best to be fiscally responsible with operating costs, but in doing that, some of the intangibles are just there. Some of the things we need to operate have become more expensive, from the daily items of paper towels, toilet paper, to some of the more essential items of chemicals and cleaning and all of those type of agents that are used on a daily basis. So some of those things we have just had to continue to eat some of those costs on because they're a part of our daily operations. And we know right now operating costs across the board are moving up, and we're doing our best to be cognizant of ways to try to reduce those operating costs, but as you know, it's difficult for us to do that in our own houses. It's even more difficult to do that on a bigger scale in a facility like this. On page 2, there is a graphic, if you've seen that, that just breaks down from COVID coming out to 2024 here, kind of what that has looked like in terms of operating expenses, revenue, and general fund transfer. As talked about, operating expenses are increasing, and they did outpace our revenue by 6% this year, but we did see an 8% increase in revenue, which was a great thing. Hopefully, at some point, some of these costs are going to level out. We're going to see some of these things come down in price a little bit, and when that happens, I think we'll continue to close that gap percentage-wise between increases in operation costs and revenues. As noted in 2024, this was our smallest general fund transfer since the pandemic. That's a good thing. That was one of the reasons that the task force was formed in 2020, out of concern for that number, that general fund transfer. And we've been working diligently to bring that number down over the years here. Expenses per visit is listed down there. And again, the end goal of all of this is to close that margin of gap between expense per visit and revenue per visit. When we get dialed in here and we're moving in the right direction, as things continue to move that way, we will see that expense per visit and revenue per visit, we'll see those two numbers become closer together as they are listed in 2024. They're $9.16 approximately in expenses per visit, $4.92 in revenue per visit. And again, those numbers are basically formulated off of, if you take all our attendance numbers from an entire calendar year from January 1st to the end of the calendar year in December, if you take all the attendance numbers and you divide that into our operating costs, that's how we kind of have broken down what is our expense per visit and what's our revenue per visit there. On the last page, again, out of the task force was an ask to kind of talk about what's happening on a yearly basis in the SAC in terms of what are we changing, what are upgrades that are being made, what are things we're being attentive to. We've listed some of those things on there again. I think worth noting is attendance in this facility in 2024 is the highest on record since it's been built in 1997. We had more people come through the doors in 2024. Attendance was at an all-time high. In comparison to an almost record-breaking year in 2023, we increased 17.3% from 2023 to 2024 in terms of attendance. And to just give you a little feeler for 2025 here, through April of this year, we're 12.5% higher right now than we were our record-breaking year last year. So we continue to see increases in attendance. We continue to see higher volumes of usage, and that can be attributed to a lot of different things. It's not any one specific thing. It's a number of things that have been done to try increase usage through a large group of demographics in our facility there. One of those metrics for sure is our fitness classes. We offer fitness classes in the SAC. Each year we do evaluate what has been effective, what has not been effective. We have classes on a yearly basis that we change, that we drop, that we add based on input that we get from our general public, and also based on numbers. We do track attendance numbers for all of our classes. So at the end of the year, we can actually sit down and say, hey, this was a great class for us. We should think about adding, we should think about expanding, or we can look at some of those and say, you know, we thought this was going to work. We gave it a go for a year here, and maybe this isn't going to be a great class for us here at the Summit Activity Center. But currently, we have 15 fitness classes between land and water. Our pool-based fitness classes are something very unique to the SAC in that we are the only indoor pool in our city here. So we have a corner on the market in terms of finding unique water-based fitness classes that people are interested in, and those have been very popular for us over the last couple years here. Fitness class attendance rose 12% from 2023 to 2024. And again, I didn't pull numbers on fitness classes through January through April, but I would assume you would see probably something similar to those attendance numbers. We have seen even more people coming and trying out fitness classes at the SAC here through the early year. The YC alumni space, which was once A museum of sorts for Yankton College has been transformed. We continue to add improvements in there. It's now a dedicated fitness studio room. It's got grab bars that we've installed, mirrors, logos, decals. What that space has allowed us to do is to create more of a personal, intimate fitness space that allows people to feel a little less intrusive when you're coming to go to a fitness class, not be out in the open. So it's been a great addition for us, and we continue to make changes and additions in there as new fitness classes are added. Obviously, pickleball is not a word that is new to anybody here. Pickleball is growing in every community. It's growing and expanding in Yankton. Past calendar year 2024, we saw an expanded, we expanded our pickleball hours at the SAC as demand has grown and the ask for more playtime has expanded as well. So now at the SAC, we do have free playtime 7 days a week, majority of morning hours into the early afternoon. Again, there are some intricacies of this space with the joint use agreement we do share with Yankton High School, which at times in the afternoons can make it a little bit tricky to do some things in that gym space. But for the most part, we've been able to provide a much longer pool of play for the pickleball players here in Yankton. Also this year, we expanded our pickleball play into an adult league. Along with some of the other leagues that we have here in Yankton, we offered 2 different league play opportunities, one early in the fall and another one this spring. Both of those were very successful. We had a large population of people that signed up for those classes, and pickleball is here to stay, and we need to find ways to continue to facilitate our pickleball players here in Yankton. And we've been doing that primarily indoors for a lot of the not so friendly weather months at the SAC. Fitness equipment upgrades are another thing that we're really trying to be more present and cognizant with there. We do now work through some replacement plans on a yearly basis, looking at what needs to be replaced, what needs to be refurbished, or what just needs to go away. If you've been in the SAC space, you know at times it has been rather cluttered. It's been a little difficult to move around up there at times, so we are trying to do a little better job of gauging what pieces of equipment are necessary, what can we do without, what do we need to add, and what do we need to upgrade, as time and wear and tear are real things in the equipment world. Our most recent addition were replacement of all of our treadmills upstairs in the space. That was kind of a large undertaking in terms of labor and cost. Commercial treadmills are not given away anymore. And so that was one of our big replacements here in the SAC space. We also refurbished squat racks. We've purchased new equipment, new dumbbells, and also some new benches up there as well. Along with the equipment, our marketing and visual upgrades have been one of the areas that there's been a lot of public comment on. I'm going to use the word institutional. That was one of the comments that was made to us as we went through the Summit Activity Center task force. Was it felt very institutional in the Summit Activity Center. So we've tried to add decals, we've added flags, we've added posters, we've added paintings to try and make the space feel less institutional and more like a welcoming community center. Banners, logos, lights, flags, signs, TV upgrades have all helped to create more visual appeal in that space. Also, our SAC promotion efforts have changed. Promotion efforts at the SAC used to be very hit and miss over the course of a calendar year with maybe 1 or 2 things happening. Now we are trying to run promotions monthly to have something that we can advertise, something that we can talk about, something that we can draw people in for. People love incentives, and so we're trying to look at a variety of incentives to get people interested and engaged with our space there. Also, if you listen to the radio, you've probably heard we now have yearly plans for advertising and marketing. That's done on a variety variety of stations, and that was with the intention of, again, not just having random moments in time over the course of a year where we talk about things, but to have ongoing programming. Our radio programming and our radio commercials change monthly so that we can talk about things that are happening within the SAC, talk about promotions, and also get people relevant information as opposed to information that's invalid or maybe stuff that isn't even pertinent anymore. So we've done a variety of things to really try and work on our marketing game and some of the visual upgrades in that space. In closing, obviously, as we've talked about, there is no one magic formula that's been derived to determine what's the acceptable points to success in that space. Again, we talked in past as far as cost recovery and general fund transfer being two of probably the biggest components of gauging positive growth. Both of those needles have been moving in the right direction, and we will continue to move those needles in the right direction. And we're on track for more continued growth in that space there. The facility, SAC, is an important quality of life amenity in Yankton. And we'll continue to work toward making that space fiscally responsible, family-friendly, and affordable for everybody in Yankton. Are there any questions about that report?
Thank you, Luke. I just have a couple of things. One, I was at the First Dakota Relays, and so congratulations on the Carl Youngworth Award. That was
Thank you.
a really big deal. They did mention that you worked at the city, so it's nice to hear that.
Yeah, that was a nice little plug.
You know, back when we started this task force, you know, we were really looking at need. And at the time the summit was built, there were not very many public or private options for fitness. There are quite a few more private options now than 30 years ago. But I think your report and what you just stated about the numbers going up and the balance, or the percent of fund transfer going down speaks volumes to the need being there and the summit reacting to that need in a way that it's causing it to grow. So thank you for all the work your team has done, because we never intended to make money. This is not a money-making effort. It's a quality of life effort, but it shows that you are meeting need and continuing to find ways to meet additional need in the community. So thank you for all your work on that.
Thank you.
If I could echo in too, Luke, you know, I was mayor when all of this came to fruition and we had these discussions. And really, you know, with the commission, we're like, what happens if this gets to $500,000 or more, you know, when we continue to look at these transfers? And so, you know, just want to give you a big round of applause and all the folks that really worked hard on this. I know I said that when the task force was completed, but you've done an excellent job. I really appreciate seeing these numbers tonight. This is really, really exciting. And so I just wanted to give you, I know, being, like I said, being mayor when this kind of all came about and putting the task force together and kind of really those mountains, I don't know if people really understood we were really trying to climb to, as Mayor Schramm said, not make this a moneymaker, but just try to protect a little bit more of that capital and that transfer. And then really to increase you know, the attendance to that facility. Kudos to you and the staff and everybody that's worked hard to do that. So I just wanted to give you a shout out on it.
Thank you.
Just to echo the mayor and Commissioner Mosier, thank you for all your hard work and dedication. Thank you to Todd and all of your staff. I think the numbers are very positive. The attendance one, I think, is really pretty cool, the 90,000, and maybe we'll get 100,000 this year. We'll see.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, can we have like a confetti thing ready to fall when the 100,000th person walks in? We can drop some balloons and confetti
We
or
will
something.
we will
We
bait
can work
that
on
with
that.
our janitorial crew and see if they're excited about that. Yes. Okay,
Thank you,
thank you.
Before we move on to the consent agenda, City Manager Minor, jeez.
Nope.
One of the people on up here, no, City Manager Leone found the information that you had asked about.
Yes, so citywide cleanup, we put in the SIM on 428. That's what I was thinking about. However, I did email you, but did not get in the SIM this time, the household hazardous waste numbers. So we will get those published to the public. At the event this year, we had 127 vehicles that participated in household hazardous waste. That's down from 2024, where we had 181 vehicles. So, you know, I don't know if it was a matter of weather or being a little later in the year, people started to have things going on, but sometimes it fluctuates like that a little bit, but still a successful event. That's 127 households where we're getting some, you know, material that might be combustible or dangerous to people out. So appreciate the staff's work and our partnership with Vermillion on that.
Moving on to the consent agenda. There are 2 items on the agenda, setting the work session date for 6 o'clock on June 16th, and establishing a hearing for Cedar Street Brews for a malt beverage and South Dakota farm wine license. What is the pleasure of the commission?
Move the consent items.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda items, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Consent item agenda is approved. Moving on to old business, we have no old business on the agenda. So I am going to take some liberty here and ask if Commissioner Weber has any comments, then Commissioner Minor as well.
Got to remember which button is which. I don't know what it is about tonight. I do have some comments. The last 6 years have been a lot and very different. I served between 1994 and 2000, and then again from 2019 until today. And those 2 experiences have been very different. And I appreciate those differences. First of all, I really just want to say thank you to Amy and to Ross and to Lisa and to really all the department heads. I have learned so much, and it's been a steep learning curve. The things that we have all had to navigate over the last 6 years have been really hard. I don't think there's been anything that's been easy. And one of the things that stood out to me over the course of these last 6 years is a difference in how we communicate with each other. As a whole, as a society, as a community. And that has been really hard because all of us in here, we are all neighbors and we are all in this together. And so the thing that I'm going to take from this is that even though we may not all be close friends, even though we may not all agree on the things that we are dealing with as a community, we are all inherently created for community, and we need to approach each other with curiosity and with the thought about what is the greater good for all of us. Because all of us up here, we didn't get on this thing because we're making a bunch of money or getting really famous. We got on here because we care about our community. And so again, thank you to all of the staff for all of your kindness and your help. And as I texted Amy over the weekend as we were going through our weekend things. I was just realizing I miss you guys already, and so it will be an adjustment for me. And I just want you all to know that I will be praying for all of you as you move forward in how you take care of this community. So thank you.
I've been doing this for 10 years, almost. I joined in September of 2015, and I echo Jerry's sentiment. It's been a lot of fun sometimes, too, and then a lot sometimes. I'm a Yankton kid, born and raised, but it's also a place that I've chosen to be, so it only made sense to choose to serve, to try to make it the best place it can be. And I've learned so much about this little town that I love, how we collectively problem solve and sometimes problem create. Right? How we celebrate hard-earned wins, how we gather each other in joy and sorrow, how we're at our best when we choose to move forward together. My favorite part of all of it has been having a front row seat on the daily machinations of the city staff and inner workings itself. The here and there's, the to and fro's, the flotsam and jetsam that occurs every single day. So much is happening at any given moment, done by some of the most dedicated people you are ever going to meet in your life. What a gift to get to see and celebrate all of you firsthand. I've long believed that it's people that make the place. And if that's true, then Yankton ought to be an extraordinary place for years to come. Thank you for the opportunity to serve and to try to make a difference. Peace.
Thank you, Jerry and Amy. Before I say anything else, I want to begin by thanking my wife and my son, Paxton. Public service takes a toll on families, and I could not have done this without their unwavering support, grace, and understanding. When I was first sworn in 6 years ago, Paxton was just 6 months old. So now just in a few days, he'll be getting ready to graduate from kindergarten. And that simple fact reminds me just how much time has passed and how much life has happened during my time on the commission. To the city staff, thank you for your strength and steady hand. You are the backbone of this community. You've worked tirelessly behind the scenes to keep Yankton running and improving, even when the spotlight wasn't on you. I've learned so much from your dedication. To my fellow commissioners, thank you for the respectful debates, the tough conversations, and the shared vision for making this place better, not just for today, but for generations to come. We haven't always agreed, but I've always respected the heart that you all bring to this work. Serving as mayor and on this commission has been one of the greatest honors of my life. I ran for office to make a difference, and while I know this work is never done, I believe we've made real progress. We've expanded opportunity, made thoughtful improvements, and tried to lead with integrity and care. To the people of Yankton, thank you for your trust, your feedback, your patience, and your high expectations. You've reminded me time and again why this work matters. Over the years, I've tried to show up with steadiness, with optimism, and with the belief that even small acts of leadership, kindness, clarity, consistency, can brighten the path forward. That's what I've aimed to do, and I've tried to be a source of light in moments when things felt uncertain, and to remind us all that our community works best when we believe in each other. Tonight is not an ending, it's a transition, and I'm proud of what we've built and even more excited for what's ahead for Yankton. Thank you all for walking beside us, and thank you for letting me serve. So with that, we need a motion to do this, don't we? Mm-hmm. All right, so I need to get a motion to adjourn sine die and for then the commission to reconvene after. So I need a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of adjourning sine die, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned sine die.
Okay, I will ask as the outgoing commissioners leave, for the incoming to come up and just take any seats, and then we'll shuffle around here after we come together. Yep, take your service award, and you'll be. It's temporary glue, I think. See, temporary. Give that to me. All right. Are we still rolling, Dwayne? Okay. In the absence of a mayor, I am going to call the meeting to order of Monday, May 12, 2025. Our first order of business is to administer the oath to the newly elected city commissioners. So we'll ask those commissioners to join City Attorney Denherter there in front of the room, and we'll get that done. You'll return to these seats, and then we'll go on with the business of selecting your mayor.
I think the pictures might be best if you have that seal kind of positioned around you guys, because you're going to be in the front page of the paper tomorrow, just to warn you. Right, aren't I? All right, gentlemen, I'd ask you to raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name. Having been duly elected to the office of Commissioner of the City of Yankton, do hereby swear that I will support the Constitution of the State of South Dakota and faithfully discharge the duties of my office as City Commissioners. Thank you and congratulations.
Okay, new commissioners, you can take the seat you were in. I believe Lisa has something for you to sign. If she hasn't given you that already, she can give it to you following the meeting as well. She'll give it to you after the meeting. So new commissioners, please don't run out of here right away. We've got something that we need for you to sign. So, are we ready, Lisa? In the absence of a mayor, I will ask for nominations for the mayor for the term 2025-2026.
I nominate Mike Villanueva for mayor and further move that nominations cease and we cast a unanimous ballot.
Second.
There's a motion and a second, although I would make a terrible mayor because I didn't ask for the roll call. I'm sorry.
Benson?
Aye.
This is going to be for roll call, just to clarify.
We're all having a hard time tonight.
Benson? Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda? Aye. Conkling? Here. Hanoff?
Here.
Mosier?
Here.
Spencer?
Here.
Villanueva?
Here.
Here? It's a roll call.
City Manager Leon?
Here.
City Attorney Denherter?
Here.
Thank you. I apologize, everyone. Now, maybe we could restate a similar motion. In the absence of a mayor, may we have a nomination for mayor to serve for the 2025-2026 term?
I nominate Mike Villanueva for mayor and further move that nominations cease and we cast a unanimous ballot.
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second for Mike Villanueva to serve as mayor. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Lisa.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling? Aye. Hanoff?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Villanueva?
I'm going to abstain.
Benson?
Aye.
Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Okay, congratulations, Mayor Villanueva. The only one that has to move is Commissioner Birch, but I think some of you will move around. So if you'll take your nameplates, move around, and Mayor Villanueva, if you'll hand me yours, I'll stick your new title on there.
There we go. It's an art.
Who needs this? And as you are ready, Mayor, the meeting is yours.
Okay, well, thank you, City Manager Leon. If you'll all humor me for just a second, I do want to just say a few things, if everybody's okay with that. First, I want to just say thank you. Thank you to everybody, and this is a huge and a great honor to be your next mayor. I do want to set the tone. I want to say thank you. Thank you to the outgoing commissioners. Thank you to Mayor Schramm. I definitely have some very big shoes to fill, and I promise I will do my very best. One of the things you're going to hear me talk about, or one of the themes you're going to find from me is team. Team is very important to me. We are Team Yankton, and I hope that we're going to work together very well, just as we have. We'll continue to do that and move forward into the future together. One of the things that we have done, and I want to continue, is we're going to have great discussions at meetings. We're going to be respectful of each other. We're going to have, at times, we're going to agree to disagree, and that's going to be okay. But we're going to do it respectfully. We're going to have great discussions here openly in this forum, which is going to be great for our citizens. And with that being said, speaking of our citizens, I've always encouraged public input, and I still encourage public input. In fact, I had a really nice young lady come up to me and say, I think sometime I'm going to come to a meeting and actually speak. I said, well, that would be fantastic. So it's neat to get some feedback out in public. And one of the last things that I'd like to read, I know others have probably heard this, but I do, it really spoke to me, and I want to take a drink before I read this here. Here we go. I wish I wrote it. I haven't. But I did find it. To cite my source, aimhappy.com is where I found this. And it's something that really speaks to me, and I hope it speaks to you. But together is a word that I love. In fact, the outgoing commissioners spoke of that, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to echo some of the things they said. We are here together is the name of it. I am no better or worse than anyone else. I am on a unique journey. Yet though I see our differences, it's still true that we are more alike than we are unalike. What I put out into the world always comes back to me. Today I offer loving kindness, positive energy, and joyful service. I choose to leave the world a better place than I found it. Today I ask, how can I help? I know that when I lift another up, I am lifted too, because I am part of something bigger than myself. I honor our differences and embrace our similarities. Through my positive communion with others, I will know peace in my heart, harmony on earth, and joy in my journey. So with that, let's get started. Thanks, everybody. Okay, the first item under new business, Special Events Committee. Consideration of memorandum number 25-89 recommending the City Commission name 3 commissioners to serve on the Special Events Committee, and that this committee meet to discuss these matters and provide a recommendation to the full City Commission regarding how we will proceed with the events in 2026. And before I take a motion, Amy, do you want to discuss some of this?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Villanueva. Commissioners, this came out of our strategic planning discussion a bit. As you will recall, I think everyone was there. We talked a little bit about special events and how to move forward with some special events as time changes, circumstances change, and we're looking for a little direction regarding the City Commission's philosophy on our special events. So we've had some public safety folks bring up some concerns about public events. We've also had some downtown businesses concerned with street closures and the exact location or maybe expanse of special events areas when it comes to street closures. We've also talked about rearranging special events, and we just want to have clear direction. So we have some staff already assigned, the experts in the area, Todd Larson and Luke Yeomans, Brandon Pavel from Parks Department, as well as our police captain, Sarah O'Farrell, and Jeremy McNitch, who's a sergeant in the police department. Not saying that the committee won't need some special guests or some advice from other folks, but I thought if we had 3 commissioners, I don't expect that the committee will be longstanding, because events are organized far in advance, but we're looking for advice on some things related to special events for the 2026 calendar year. So that's kind of what we're looking at, Mayor, and hopefully we can find 3 commissioners who'd be interested in serving on that.
Okay, thank you, City Manager Leon. Are there any volunteers for this special committee that would like to speak up now?
I'll volunteer.
Oh,
Okay. Commissioner Conkling?
I certainly can. I've planned a lot of local, state, and world events for our community,
Yeah.
so I feel like I have a good background in it.
Awesome. Thank you, Commissioner Mosier. Anybody else would like to volunteer for the committee?
I'd do it.
Okay, Commissioner Spencer, thank you. Okay, so we have, do I have a motion for those 3 commissioners that have volunteered?
So moved. Second.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any commission discussion? Seeing no mics. Any public discussion or input? Seeing no movement. Roll call.
Conkling? Hanoff?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Benson? Aye. Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye. Okay, number 2, under new business, Summit Activity Center rental rate increase and dates for blocking rentals. Consideration of memorandum number 25-90, recommending that the City Commission adopt resolution number 25-22, implementing the Summit Activity Center proposed rate structure for 2027, beginning on July 1st of 2027. Do you want to have any input from, any explanation from Todd or?
Yes, this goes back in time. Again, the facility is a shared facility with the high school, and so this deals with the rental rates when it comes to, think of big events, the dance that just took place this weekend in the theater, wrestling meets that take place in the main gym. If it has to spill over into the auxiliary gym, in the past, there's been big enough events, Roger Hawes, that would use the main gym, auxiliary gym. Any other facilities, if they're going to use the commons, hallways, everything's spelled out. So these rental rates deal with those big facility rentals. And again, the school provides the maintenance staff, unlock doors, anything that happens during, and then lock up, clean up for these events. Different than meeting rooms that are on our end of the building. Also different than if a basketball team wants to rent one court in the auxiliary gym. So different rentals than what we're talking about here. These are the big ones. And again, back in time, just like we talked about with the SAC, trying to cost recover, building getting older, we looked at the community and had proposed rates that were market value, and the city school commission at that time didn't want to move forward that aggressively, and thus this plan came up where starting back in 2014 or whatever the year was, we were going to start looking at always setting rates 1 and 2 years in advance, 3% increase every year to, again, just keep up with all the costs that were going on. That also includes the maintenance staff. If you look through that document down at the bottom, there does spell out the maintenance staff hourly wages also that have to be paid in. And so through the years, we're always working on that 2 years out, and that way, again, as the discussion was, we wanted to make sure the community felt or knew ahead of time that when they're renting a year, thinking about renting 2 years out, they'd have an idea what the fees were going to be. It wasn't just dropped on them every year that, oh, there's going to be an increase. So we do publish 1 and 2 years out, and this is 2 years out that we're working on.
Okay, thank you, Todd. Okay, with that being said, is there anything from the commissioners you want to talk about? Okay, seeing no mics come on. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion from the commissioners? Okay, seeing no mics. Any input from the public? Seeing no movement. Roll call.
Hanoff?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Benson? Aye. Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling? Mayor Villanueva?
Aye. Okay, number 3, property plat. Consideration of memorandum number 25-91 regarding resolution number 25-23, a plat of Prairie Creek Ranch in the east half of the southeast 1/4 of Section 11, T93 North, R55 West, the 5th Prime Meridian, Yankton County, South Dakota. Address 44486 South Dakota Highway 50, Prairie Creek Ranch LLC, Thomas Arns, manager, owner.
Mayor Villanueva,
Yes.
I'm going to abstain from the two plats. As the deputy zoning administrator for the county, I actually processed these through, so there's no conflict of interest appearance. I'm going to abstain.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Conkling. Okay, Commissioner, what's your pleasure?
So move for approval.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion? Seeing no mics, any public input? Seeing no movement in the room, roll call.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Benson?
Aye.
Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling? Hanoff?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye. Number 4, again, property plat, consideration of memorandum number 25-92 regarding resolution number 25-24, a plat of Tract 1 and Tract 2 of Potts Addition in the southeast quarter of Section 4, T93 North, R55 West of the 5th Prime Meridian, Yankton County, South Dakota. Address both sides of the 3200 block of Whiting Drive. Red Hawk LLC and Rudolph Hill Farm, Dwayne Potts, manager, partner, owner. What's your pleasure, Commission?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any commission discussion? Seeing no mics, any public input? Seeing no movement in the room, roll call.
Spencer?
Aye.
Benson?
Aye.
Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling? Hanoff?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye. Okay, number 5, renewal of malt beverage and South Dakota wine licenses for the 2025-26 licensing period. Be consideration of memorandum number 25-93 recommending that the City Commission approve the renewal of the listed malt beverage and South Dakota wine licenses for the 2025-2026 licensing period. What's your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any commission discussion about this item? Seeing no mics. Any public input? No movement in the room. Roll call.
Benson?
Aye.
Birch?
Aye.
Brunick?
Aye.
Sarda?
Aye.
Conkling? Hanoff?
Aye.
Mosier?
Aye.
Spencer?
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva?
Aye. Okay, number 6, Banner Engineering proposal for engineering services for the replacement of the 23rd Street Bridge. Consideration of memorandum number 25-94 recommending that the City Commission authorize the city manager to execute the agreement for engineering services for the replacement of structure number 68-119-190 on 23rd Street with Banner Associates, Inc. Adam, do you have anything you want to talk about with this? I know we moved this up, replacement of this bridge.
Yeah, so this is the engineering agreement with Banner Associates for, it's not on. Can you hear me? This is the engineering agreement with Banner Associates to put the final design and bid package together for the replacement of the 23rd Street structure. Hoping to have that done rather quickly so that we can have a bid letting this summer and a possible fall construction project for the replacement of that bridge. With that, we've determined that a box culvert would work at that location, and staff may be bringing forward, we'd like to try to procure those box culverts sooner than later so that we would have them by this fall. So you may be seeing that come forward at a future commission meeting here, so.
Thank you. I did see in the packet that the proposed construction was like October, November, December. Do you think that'll be possible?
It's possible, and it's all weather dependent, and
Right.
contractor availability, and
Okay.
all that in between, yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Appreciate the input.
What does that look like on the top then? Is the railings, is there a pedestrian walkway? 'Cause
Yep,
I know
so-
on the north side, there's not a pedestrian.
There's plans to add sidewalk along the north side. If you're familiar with the Green Street box culvert right around the corner to the northwest, very similar. It would have decorative railing along the edges, a turf, berms leading up to the road structure or surface, and curb and gutter. Yep.
Adam, quick question. In the commission packet, obviously, we reduced, whoever reduced the load limit 2023, and then it said in 2024, the next bridge inspection, we had to reduce it again. So I, one, appreciate you bringing this in front of the commission in an expedited timeline, but are there any issues that this would eventually be to the point it can't be used until construction, we have a chance to fix it? Or do we feel like where we're at is stable enough that we'll get to construction? I'm just curious on that.
So we do have a 2025 inspection in the works. It planned. The commission approved moving forward with those inspections. That's through the DOT. That paperwork has just been processed, so at any time, Banner can go forward with the inspection for 2025. Hopefully they don't find anything immediately that we need to make more adjustments and that we can get to just this fall. But if we need to do something more load reductions or possibly closing some width of the lane closing going across the bridge, we may have to do that. But we'll see what they come back with.
Okay, anything else for Adam? Okay, Commissioner, what's your pleasure?
So moved.
Second. Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor. Any commission discussion? Seeing no mics come on. Any public input? No movement in the room. Roll call.
Birch.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Conkling. Hanoff.
Aye.
Mosier.
Aye.
Spencer.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva.
Aye. Okay, item number 7, Benedict Estates, acceptance of sanitary sewer and street improvements. Consideration of memorandum number 25-95, recommending that the city commission accept the sewer and street improvements for Phase 3 of Benedict Estates residential subdivision. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve the sewer and street improvements.
Okay, I have a motion
Second?
and a second. Commission discussion. Seeing no mics, any public input? No movement in the room. Roll call.
Brunick.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Conkling. Hanoff.
Aye.
Mosier.
Aye.
Spencer.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Birch.
Aye.
And Mayor Villanueva.
Aye. Okay, number 8, bid award for Douglas Ave Water Main Replacement Project. Consideration of memorandum number 25-96, recommending that the City Commission award the Douglas Avenue Water Main Replacement Project to Fimer Construction, Inc. in the amount of $938,230.30. I do have a question, Adam. These, as we're going to be doing these water main replacements, will we also be getting those houses that need to have their water lines replaced at the same time, or at least working with those people?
So when we install new water main, we always install new copper service out to the property line or the right-of-way line. And then we usually leave it up to the homeowner to make the decision to run it into their house the rest of the way. So
Okay.
we do leave it so that there'd be they wouldn't have to do any street cutting or anything like that if they wanted to replace their line in the future. But we are not requiring it with these projects.
Okay, that's great, thank you. Okay. What's your consideration, Commission?
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion? Any public input? Okay, roll call.
Sarda.
Aye.
Conkling.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Mosier.
Aye.
Spencer.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Birch.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva.
Aye. Item number 9, Ribfest Special On-Sale Liquor and Transient Merchant Licenses. Consideration of memorandum number 25-97, recommending the City Commission approve the transient merchant and special on-sale liquor licenses to Rock and Rumble, Inc. for Yankton Ribfest event on June 14th, 2025. What's your pleasure?
So moved.
Okay, I have a first
Second.
and a second on the floor. Any commission discussion? Okay, any public input? Roll call.
Conkling. Hanoff.
Aye.
Mosier.
Aye.
Spencer.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Birch.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva.
Aye. Okay, number 10, music at the Meridian. That means summer's coming. Consideration of memorandum number 25-98, recommending that the city commission approve an application for special on-sale malt beverage retailers and special on-sale wine retailers licenses for each of the following days: July 4th, July 10th, July 17th, July 21st, and 31st, from Hanton Inc., doing business as Ben's Brewing Company, 719 Walnut Street, Yankton, South Dakota, for the Music at the Meridian series to be held in Riverside Park near 200 Levy Street. What's your pleasure?
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Any commission discussion? Okay, any public input? Okay, roll call.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Mosier.
Aye.
Spencer.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Birch.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Conkling.
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva.
Aye. All right, number 11, agreement for engineering services with Banner Associates, Inc. Consideration of memorandum number 25-99, recommending the city commission authorize the city manager to execute the agreement for engineering services for water main relocations at Cedar Street, Capitol Street, and 23rd Street with Banner Associates, Inc. What's your pleasure?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any commission discussion about this item? Seeing no mics, any public input? No movement in the room. Okay, roll call.
Mosier.
Aye.
Spencer.
Aye.
Benson.
Aye.
Birch.
Aye.
Brunick.
Aye.
Sarda.
Aye.
Conkling.
Aye.
Hanoff.
Aye.
Mayor Villanueva.
Aye. Okay, that does it for our previous section here of new business. Next, we do have future business, and as a reminder, this is a time for the city commissioners to address the commission regarding matters not on this agenda. These items will not be deliberated by the governing body and will not be acted upon at this time, but it will be, anything mentioned may be added to a future city commission meeting or work session for deliberation or action. Commissioners, do you have anything for future business? Okay, see no mics. Okay, and lastly, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting of May 12th, 2025?
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, thanks, everybody.
He's a natural.
Have something for your son.
Great job, man.
Thanks.